Happy hump day, everybody. It is Wednesday, and unusually, because I usually do a Facebook Live on Tuesdays to start the week, we get to start the week with Megan Cockrell. And I'm really excited she's joining us and that you're going to get to meet her in the Profit Concierge group because she does one of those services that so many of us need help with. And she does it in a really unique way that allows you to really connect with what you're trying to do in your business. She's a Facebook strategist, so we are all trying to figure out Facebook right now. So I've definitely got some questions for you around that. But her passion's to nurture and grow client audiences and sales through both organic means and paid ads. And she owns a business called 2M Social, which was funny because I looked at it and said, oh, 2 million social. And Megan said, no, that's 2 M's as in Matt and Megan. And I went, oh, right. But now you know what else it means to a finance geek. And she the thing I love is I talked to her once and I felt this. She brings her like really upbeat personality into her business and serves her clients with that as well. So wife and mom to 3 kids, so extra points for upbeat. She knows how important that work-life balance is that so many of us struggled with. And she, in fact, started this business so she could still be home and present for her kids, but contribute to helping others grow and succeed. And therefore, when she's got some free time, she's going to be playing outside with her kids, trying new foods with her husband. And then the ones I like the most, she's an avid coffee drinker, and a chocolate chip cookie snob. Not just an aficionado, not just an expert, but a chocolate chip cookie snob. What distinguishes you as a snob in chocolate chip cookies? That's my biggest question.
I only like Pillsbury cookie dough. Like, don't take me to some fancy bakery that makes some other chocolate chip cookie. Don't make it yourself. It's never as good as a Pillsbury dough.
That is amazing. So straight out of the pack, Pillsbury dough?
Yeah, I don't like the squares. I like the tube.
Okay.
I don't like the dough, and I also bake it. But I also am very picky. Like, I want to, like I had someone come over and they like, oh, you have cookie dough. I think they were watching my kids, and they made the whole thing of cookie dough. And I was like, why did you do that? Because I will make like 3 cookies at a time because I want them right out of the oven.
Yep.
I don't want a cold Pillsbury chocolate chip cookie. I want a warm one.
That is very specific. And yes, you're a chocolate chip cookie snob. You've earned that title, and I'm going to accept it. And it's interesting is we are chocolate chip cookie snobs as well, with a slightly different twist.
Yeah.
We only like the Nestle chocolate chip cook bag and the exact recipe that's on the back of it.
Yeah, so you make it yourself.
Yep. But if you throw in, let's try it with something else. Let's add nuts. Let's do this. We all are like, nope.
Nope, not eating that.
My wife makes
cookies
them. What's that?
What? No,
my
you go.
wife makes them, and they've been my daughter's favorites forever. So it's amazing.
Yeah, chocolate chip cookies are one of those things that are like a classic. You find what you like, and you stick with it. And don't mess with it. That's it.
So true. That's the way I feel about pork chops. You just grill a pork chop. You don't put stuff on it. You just grill it and eat it. The pork chop itself has all the flavor it needs. Anyway, I got way off target.
Like a thick one.
Yes, nice thick one, no bone, 1.5, 2 inches thick. Throw it on the grill, salt and pepper, maybe a little rosemary, but that's it.
That's what I want for lunch now.
No, me too. My mouth is watering. I shouldn't have gone down this path.
You got to move on.
So how long have you been working in 2M?
So technically, we came up with that name a couple of years ago when my husband was going to start working with me. But I started my journey in 2017 when I only
had this for a while.
Yes, and my kind of progress I started as a VA, really because we were not able to make ends meet. So we just needed extra money, and I saw someone do a webinar, like if you're a mom and you want to contribute, but you don't want to sell anything. I was like, yes, that's me. So I signed up, and that night became a virtual assistant. Didn't even know what that was until that night, and had my first client right out of the gate, like from that webinar, found a client. And then just, the next client I had, she took a Facebook strategy organic course and put me through it as her assistant. And then together, we grew her page pretty significantly.
Oh, cool.
Doubled it. like in the thousands, like 15,000 to 30,000 in, I don't know, 3 or 4 months.
Wow.
And most of it was organic. She did ads a little bit, but it was really kind of a compliment to the organic stuff we were doing.
Mhm.
And then from there, I went on and did just page management and growth,
Got it.
and then picked up Facebook ads. So that's where most of my what I do now is just ads. And then I love teaching Facebook organic strategy.
I
Like I can talk
love
to you
that.
all day about Facebook strategy.
Well, let's actually go down that road because Facebook
do
has
it.
been making people crazy lately, particularly with
Mhm.
ads. So that's why I like to talk about organic, because Facebook has truly and it's interesting because the actual issue with Apple, the Apple upgrade didn't roll out till this week,
Yep.
but yet everybody I'm talking to, every client of mine and non-clients are saying, what the heck is going on with Facebook? Our ads just aren't working. Costs are going up 10x. I'm not getting the right number of clients. And these are fully established. A couple of them are 8-figure businesses.
Yep.
And what's going on with Facebook ad stuff?
I will be honest, I don't know, but I have seen that too, that all of the ad costs are going up. I mean, people I have a lot of clients, like we will run challenges. It's like a paid challenge, so like $10 or $15 to get in.
Yeah.
And typically we can get them, lead cost in for $6, $7, even $10 is great because you're breaking even. But for the past couple of months, it's been like, if it was a $10 challenge, it was costing us $20 to get them in.
Yes, that's what we're seeing.
I'm like, trying everything, and but I mean, I would say I think the lead gen is still doing really well. I've seen it go up a little bit, but if you can get solid a lead gen on an ad, then that's doing well. But the paid stuff is crazy, and I'm hoping that it's really just whatever is going on behind the scenes, because I know I've been on lots of Facebook's webinars about this rollout, and they are mad. They are mad at Apple. They are fighting, because this was supposed to happen in January.
I know.
And they've been fighting them, and so it hasn't happened. And so I'm hoping it's some kind of glitch, that they're putting all their energy into fighting and setting up advertisers really well. Like, I think they have done a good job at setting us up so that, you have to learn a slightly different way of doing stuff in the business manager, but then going forward, it's really not going to be that big of a deal. I think
That is an awesome perspective, and the first time I've heard that. So I've heard a lot of people saying Facebook is basically screwing the small guy. They're just trying to get as much money out of this as they can before it's too late and Apple moves this needle that's going to change everything. But I like your perspective that, hey, maybe they're not the bad guy in this. Maybe they are truly trying to continue to protect the small guy. Because of that, they're not paying as much attention right now to this as they are to the however they're trying to stop Apple. And that after this, they've got to set up to succeed even in an Apple controlled world.
Yes. And I have seen a lot of scare tactics, and they have rubbed me the wrong way. Like, a lot of advertisers are like Facebook managers have been like, this is terrible, your Facebook ads are going to crash. And it's really like, hey, just come watch my $37 webinar to tell you how to get it, which is great. Like, I have been very amazed at how much I've had to learn. And I've thought, like, if there's a small business owner that doesn't have an ads manager and they're just trying to do this on their own, like, it is a lot.
Yes, it is. I tried to do it for 2 years, and I just finally said, no, I can't do this myself.
Right. And so I see these scare tactics, and I'm like, that's just not helpful. Like, I personally don't find that helpful, because I think it is, Facebook has been upfront, and Facebook has said, yes, this is really going to hurt small businesses. And I think it can, but I think that they're doing a lot of stuff to combat that. And, I know we talked about kind of the thing I want to give everyone for free, but what's going to be so important is finding where your people are on Facebook, because the idea is that if someone opts out of the tracking, then you can't track them if they go to Google and search for chocolate chip cookies. We'll never know that they like Pillsbury chocolate chip cookies on a Google search. But if they go to Facebook and they like the chocolate chip cookie page for Pillsbury, then we'll be able to see that. And so you want, that's another thing, like, your organic needs to be on point as well, right?
Yep.
We want to be able to reach those people, like, through the Facebook realm and not just on Google. Because if you can stay on Facebook and get them there, then we're going to be able to target them if they've opted out.
Yeah, that's the key, is that you get to retarget them. And that's the piece that I think so many of us who try to do this on our own, or tried to do this on our own, we just don't understand the retargeting. We think, you put a little bit of money on an ad, it's going to go out to the right people in the right place. They're going to see it just like I see these ads, and they're going to go, oh yeah, I need that. And that's just not true. And so let's get back to the organic discussion. And what's your philosophy around organic growth? Like, do you have an overarching philosophy, or something that we should think about if organic growth is our concept?
Oh, there's so much. I don't have just one.
Okay.
We could do a whole session on it. It's my favorite.
Well, cool.
Yeah, sign me up. So I think the biggest thing is really knowing your customer, client, whatever you call them.
Okay.
And speaking to them in a way that they want to be spoken to, and focusing on them and not yourself. Because I know if you think about, like, as a business owner, we're like, look at my transformation. This is what I did. This is what I can do for you. And it's like me centered. Whereas if I turn that around and I'm like, I've been where you are, right? So here are the things that I see. Here are the things that I know about where you are. Mm-hmm. And you're talking to them, and you are asking them questions, and you are engaging them, and you are trying to involve them in your business versus just like, here's me and my stuff, putting it out. Does that make sense?
Relationship focused.
Relationship focused. And if you think about it, I don't know, I think it wasn't this year, it was the previous year. So a year ago, Facebook paid a whole bunch of money to run an ad for the Super Bowl all about groups. And what are groups? Facebook groups are all about community. And so the more you can get people on your page putting solid content that they want, not what you want, what they want, and you can form relationships and bonds, and you can talk back and forth like on your content.
Yeah.
Like, that's golden. So if someone says to you, like, Pam, I really like the plants behind you. Those are amazing. And you're like, oh my gosh, thank you. This is where I got them from. Do you have plants in your office?
Got it.
Saying something to get them to respond back to you. And they're like, oh yeah, I have 3, or I have none. They'd be like, I got mine from here. Have you ever considered I don't know. I'm making up stuff off the top of my head, but you know what I'm saying? Like, relationship. Yeah. And not just being like, thanks.
Which is interesting, because that's how we want to do business with each other anyway. We don't want a cold machine that we're doing business with. We want relationships. So it's a start of what you want to have if you actually do have them become a client. So one of the questions I have, and I'm actually going to float a little something out here, guys, because what Megan has done is offered us all a free resource to find out where your audience is, because it sounds to me like that's really your first step. So can you kind of broaden a little bit on what you mean by find out where your audience is on Facebook?
Yes. So as an ad strategist, or even if we're doing organic, so if someone comes to me and they want organic, this is one of the first things I'll teach. So Facebook has this really cool thing, and it's going away. So funny that I'm telling you about it, but I think they're just putting it in Business Suite. This announcement came out today. Okay. So I have to figure out exactly what it looks like in July when it rolls out. But I think they're just moving it to Business Suite versus Business Manager.
Okay.
But what you can do is I can go into this thing called Audience Insights. It's in your Business Manager, soon to be Business Suite. And you go in and you can say, you put in like, okay, the United States and Canada, wherever you're targeting. And then you put in your demographics. So I could say women 35 to 45. And I could put in, the United States, and then I say likes, and you can put in all these different interests. So I could put in likes chocolate chip cookies, and then it'll tell me. Yes, I'm going to be so hungry after this.
I know. Pork chops and chocolate chip cookies for sure.
Works for me. Let's do it. Yeah, so you put in that, and then it'll tell you, okay, women 35 to 45 in the United States who like Pillsbury chocolate chip cookies, also like milk and the Great British Baking Show, because what do you watch when you're eating your cookies? And they shop at Target, and that, like, it'll just give you this whole list. And so I'll go through that list and pull out some of the things. If I'm, if I was Pillsbury and I was trying to find people to like my chocolate chip cookies, I'm probably not going to target, but milk and maybe Netflix.
That makes so much
And
sense. So, like,
yeah,
I'm thinking about this. I'm going to try and apply it to something else.
yeah,
Like, let's say you are, well, let me use me as an example. So, because I never thought about this. Let's say, so
mhm,
I'm a finance coach for CEOs
right,
and or small business owners. And I've always gone to look at things like, Entrepreneur Magazine as an interest and da 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 da. But truth be told, there are a lot of at-home moms who are starting a business.
yep,
Well, maybe where I need to look is other things that at-home moms might have in common, like how do I take care of my kids when I'm trying to work,
yeah.
or healthy meals for my kids. Like, it never occurred to me to
Meals on the go really quick because now you're working.
never,
Yep,
ever, ever occurred to me to travel down a route like that, as
yep,
opposed to, watches Amy Porterfield, Marie Forleo, blah, blah, blah.
yep.
Yeah, that's really, really a fantastic tip. Wendy, when you review this, index this right here, because number one, there's a freebie that
Mhm.
is available, which is awesome. But number two, it really totally flips your mind out here. Like, I'm having a head explosion that I'm going to need to manage, because that opens up a whole new can of worms
Whole
for
new can of worms.
people.
And then what you do is, so like I pop up all these tabs and I do a video. I give you a guide so you can read it and the freebie. And also
Uh-huh.
you get an email with a video because I'm like, I got to show you what we're
Oh,
doing.
cool.
So it's a walkthrough video tutorial. But then what I do is pull up all these tabs. So I would pull up, working moms with kids, crock pot meals, whatever, healthy
Yep.
meals, working out as a
Oh, yeah. Working out, health. Yep.
right, like those types of things. And then I pull them all up in different tabs, look at them, make sure the page is still posting. If they
Yep.
posted the last time 3 years ago, I'm not going to target them, but make sure
Got
it's
it.
relevant and that it somewhat, matches what I'm trying to do. And then I, pull up a Google Doc and I just start making like chunks. Like, okay, these are moms starting their businesses. These are the, hardcore entrepreneurs who've been doing this for 10 years and they're CEOs and here's what they're doing. And these are I don't know. You
Yep. Yep.
make
Yep.
different groups and then you test them when you run ads. Or the other cool thing with this, if you're not even doing ads, when you pull up those pages where your people are hanging out, you can see, okay, I'm starting to see trends. This is really bright colors. This is, they
Oh,
seem to be
wow.
living
Great
these.
advice.
Yeah, so you can start. I mean, I'm not saying copy, do not copy anyone's stuff, but modeling kind of those same trends that you see on the pages where they're hanging out for the things that
Wow.
you are now targeting.
I am putting that in the comments because I don't want people to miss it. Model the same trends that you see on the pages and groups that your
People are
avatar
hanging out. Yep.
is hanging out. And that is amazing. What great advice.
Yes.
So as you
And
start to do your cover page or whatever you're going to have in the background, focus on, this is where these folks are hanging out. This is where I found a chunk of 30 of them. And then you can also join those groups.
yep, exactly.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
form genuine relationships. Please don't just start
Yes.
messaging random people, but form genuine relationships.
Yep. That is so big. And the one thing I think is really cool and I love about the Profit Concierge group is we're really screening for that before we let people in. And I'm fine with doing these Facebook Lives and I'm fine with sharing people's launches and stuff, because what's happening with these Facebook Lives and with the campfires is that people are forming those relationships.
Right.
So like, they know that if they've gotten in here and we're having this conversation, that, hey, it is okay to say, I need somebody to help me with my marketing, and look at some of these Facebook Lives and go, wow, I really connect with what that person's saying. And
Mhm.
that to me feels like we're building a group where we get to know each other, as opposed to, hi, I'm selling this, here's my freebie. And
Yep.
everybody's responded so amazingly well on these calls and on introductions that I've made when I'm in a campfire and I hear somebody say something about something we might talk about here. I'll just send a connection to them to this Facebook
Yeah.
Live. They can find it. And that's all part of the organic growth and building the relationships. And
Mhm.
the thing with me, when it's finance, nobody's going to call me as a stranger and say, help me with my finances. But
Right.
somewhere down the road, maybe out of our 1,200 people that we have in the group, maybe only 2 call 3 years from now, but I've got the fun of building and enjoying and getting the benefit of a community for 2 years. So
Yeah.
it's like a negative investment. It's the opposite of investment. It's like I'm getting something out of this all the time.
Right.
That's what I think organic growth
Hmm.
feel like. And that's why I love the way you approached it when you talked about it to me, kind of the first
Yeah.
time and mentioned it here.
And I do want to say organic growth tends to be much slower, which is why
Mhm.
I think people try to like, "Oh, I'm not going to do, I'm going to just throw all money at ads." And I think obviously I do ads for a living. I think they're important, but organic is slower, but it can work. Like, I don't think it's dead. It just takes a lot of work.
It takes work, but it's work instead of if you put your money on either a team or your time to manage that organic growth instead of putting it in ads, it's not any different. It's just it's not any more expensive.
Right.
It number one, it's going to get you a much warmer lead. I bet you when you come down to your client cost your client cost for advertising or relationship building, it's going to be a lot lower than it might have been with ads because you might be talking to a lot of people that just don't fit.
And I'm a big, like, I don't know if this is just me, but I find that a lot of people, if I see an ad on Facebook, I'm going to go check you out because anyone can run an ad. So I saw an ad for, we were looking for playgrounds for our kids for Christmas. And so I got this ad for these wooden playgrounds, that if you go to Lowe's or, Wayfair or whatever, $2,000. And they were like, "We're having a sale. They're only $50." And I was like, okay. So,
Maybe toothpicks. Yeah.
right? Might be too big. So I go and like check them out, and it's just all a scam. But they were
Yeah.
able to run ads, and so that's a very dramatic example,
But real.
but real. And the truth is that, especially if I'm going to work with a coach or like an accountant, or if I'm running ads as a ad strategist and want you to come work with me, like, you should probably come check me out. You should go check him out. You should go to the page. And if it's like, "Oh, Megan hasn't posted," I mean, I'll be honest, I'm a little bit slack on the posting. But if like you haven't posted in 4 years and the last time you were posting, it was all cat memes, like, that doesn't make any sense. Like,
Right.
why would you think that I'm legit, that I know what I'm talking about? But instead, if I've done that time with that organic, even if you're, just being consistent in what you're putting out, I really think it helps your ad costs go down because people are like, "Oh yeah, this is legit. Let me go back and get."
Yeah, I love that. I mean, you are dropping gold left and right here, sister. If folks are paying attention, there's a lot of information buried in here, and I'm just going to rehash a couple of it. One is go ahead and use the business suite to identify where your avatar is hanging out. And if you want some tips on that, there is a freebie here. Let me run that banner again so that you guys can get it. And we'll drop that link down in the comments as well. So whether you're watching this live or on replay, first of all, let me know if you're watching it live or on replay. I'm always curious. Second of all, grab that link. Third, if you have any questions about this whole conversation, feel free to drop them in the comments and just tag Megan. She'll jump in and answer them. So that's another really cool thing. The second, the one you just said, which I really like, is the more that you're talking with your audience, the more that you're putting content out there, the more that you're engaging organically with your audience, the more valuable your ads become.
Right.
Because when you see an ad, it's natural to go check the person out. And if you see that they're an active, working entrepreneur that's engaging with the world, that's going to automatically up the value of that ad.
Yep.
I love that. Awesome,
Yep.
awesome.
Can I give another tip that I've been doing?
God, yes. I never say no to that.
Oh, good. I have a friend who works, she does all the marketing for this one client, and their ads are insanely cheap. And the reason is, when I was talking about her targeting, she was like, "Okay, we know our women are 45 to 65. They declutter," because it's like a decluttering.
Okay.
Let me just drop it. Simplify Days. They're amazing. They take all of your like paper clutter and digitize it so that you can really declutter all that stuff you got in your house. So they're great. But so they know, like, and I might be butchering this exactly. So if you go to them, but like 45 to 60 women who like to declutter. And then there's other really specific things. Again, this is what I might be butchering, but like to like knit and have cats. because they are so specific
I love it.
on their people that
Got
they
it.
are like, okay. Now, not everyone knits and has a cat, right?
Yep.
But they're like, a majority of our people do these things, and so we can find them. And so people like eat up their stuff left and right because they have figured out who their people are. So I've been sending out, I made this giant questionnaire for my people, for my clients to send out like in their groups. So like, do you have pets? Do you have a dog, a cat? None? Something else? Do you
Wow.
go hiking, swimming, dancing? Like, what are your hobbies? Like this huge list. Because if we can find that 300 of the
Commonality.
500 people who respond all go hiking, well, then guess what? I'm going to target chocolate chip cookies and hiking because those are clearly my people.
Holy cow, that's brilliant. Send a questionnaire to your existing client base. Ask them about hobbies, free time, what they buy on the
Music,
internet,
where they shop.
music. And if it's a time, if you know, I mean, I would even do something like say, hey, if you fill this out for me, here's a $25 Amazon gift card. Because that will be so worth so much more than $25 if you can find commonality amongst them. That's brilliant. Guys, folks, man, when we got to make sure we index this one because there is tons of gold in here. Thank you for sharing all of that. So the best way for people to reach you, if they go to let me drop this in here again. If they go to this link, will they be able to get, further down your funnel to get?
No, that is just a landing page. If you want to find me, your best bet is to go to Facebook and just 2M Social.
Okay, cool. So go to Facebook and it's 2M Social.
Yep.
And let's just add that guy there real quick. And folks ask questions on this comment string. Are they okay to DM you if they've got a specific question or want more information? And I can tell you, I've enjoyed this conversation just as much as I enjoyed our first one. I hope that I can talk you into jumping into one of our campfires because I know there are a lot of, in those campfires, there are a lot of people who have questions about marketing. And, every now and then, somebody who focuses on a particular piece of marketing will jump in and we get a lot of great inputs there. But one of the things I will do is definitely send them to this live because hugely helpful. I can't thank you enough for jumping on and spending some of your morning with us on Wednesday.
Of course. It was so fun. I'm so glad you asked me. Thank you.
Fantastic. Everybody have a great rest of hump day. I'll see you here tomorrow. If you'd want to sign up for a campfire, feel free to do it. The link is all over the Facebook group and I'll drop it down in here in this comment string as well. And you can schedule for any one of our campfires that are Tuesdays and Thursdays. It's a get to know you campfire. We talk about how we make s'mores. We talk about the issues we're dealing with that may or may not have anything to do with business and just get to know each other. They've been a blast, folks. So I hope you join us. And again, Megan, thank you so, so much.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me, Pam.
All right. Bye, everybody.